Hey everyone, welcome back to Firsthand Globetrotting. I'm back at the airport today and about to board a flight to the Riviera Maya in Mexico. I have a pocket full of pesos and I'm ready for an amazing time. I haven't been to Mexico since I was a teenager, so I'm super excited for this trip. I could hear the beach calling me, so as soon as we landed, I got out of the airport and into my shuttle as quickly as I could. It's pretty much a straight highway drive from Cancun Airport down to all the mega resorts along the Riviera Maya. Other than a few smaller cities and towns we passed through, it was mostly just resort after resort after resort for the entire hour-long drive. But finally, we pulled up to the huge Barcelo sign and I knew I was there. My home base for the next 11 nights is the Barcelo Maya Grand Resort. This is a huge resort, not just big, huge. It's actually made up of 6 different hotels that are connected together. The one I'm staying at is the Barcelo Maya Colonial. I was pretty impressed as soon as I walked into the lobby. It's all open air, so you get to feel the nice Caribbean warmth while you're checking in. I've only ever been to an all-inclusive resort one other time in my life, on a trip to Acapulco, so these types of trips definitely aren't my usual travel experience. But a bunch of friends and family were going, so how could I say no to sandy beaches, sunshine, and as much food and drink as I could handle? Just look at the fountain pool in the lobby. That's bigger and cleaner than a lot of hotel swimming pools I've seen. The really cool thing about this resort is even though I'm staying at one hotel, I get to use the pools and restaurants and bars and everything else from a bunch of the other ones. Other than the adults-only hotel and the Premium Palace Hotel, the rest of the Barcelo Maya is mine to enjoy. First stop is to my room to drop my bags and change into my beach gear. Nice colorful walls of the hotel buildings and little gardens in the middle. My building had an angel theme to it and there were statues of them all over the place. And just like the lobby, everything is nicely open air. Inside my room they had a complimentary bottle of Mayan liqueur waiting for me, unexpected and a really nice touch. I'll let you know how it tastes once I crack it open. And out the patio door I have a little jungle oasis to relax in. Palm trees and tropical plants everywhere I look, really nice. It's getting late, but I have to get out to see the pools and beach before the sun goes down. Nothing but palm trees, blue water, and sandy beaches as far as I can see. And that's not even considering all of the amazing pools everywhere. So far everything is absolutely perfect, and I'm definitely happy I booked this resort. It probably sounds like an advertisement, but I'm just so happy everything is picture perfect and exactly how I hoped. I know that a lot of resorts don't live up to their hype, but so far so good with this one. Walking around, I had my first Mexican animal sighting. It stands so still, it looks like the video is frozen. By this time I was getting hungry, so I figured I'd start my first night off with one of the buffets. Tonight's theme was Asian, and they had a pretty huge selection to choose from. I was actually really impressed with the variety and quality of the buffet food, way better than I normally get from buffets. Plus, there was a self-serve tequila station complete with salt and limes. A little walk around the hotel after dinner, but not for long since I was ready for bed after a long travel day. On to day 2, and I can't wait to see what else the resort has to offer. The buffet breakfast was equally as impressive as the dinner one. Seemed to be a good mix of Mexican, American, and European breakfast foods. Whether I wanted a light breakfast or a plate full of heavy stuff, I always had options. Oh yeah, and they even had a pyramid of donuts in case you needed some early morning sweets. But enough with the food for now, time to get back out into the sunshine. The pool area looks even more impressive in the daytime. See this pool that seems to go on forever? This is only one of the pools at one of the hotels. The resort has a bunch more just like it. You're never very far from a swim. And like any good resort, the pool has a nice little swim-up bar so I don't even need to dry myself off. I found a pool chair in the shade, and I even had a little hammock next to me to relax in. Perfect spot to just sit back and enjoy Mexico. The sun's shining, the weather's incredible, the drinks are cold. What more could I ask for? And when it came to lunchtime, I didn't need to leave the pools for very long. They have little beach grills next to all of the big pools, so you can grab a quick lunch instead of going all the way to the bigger buffets. Not as big of a selection, but there were still plenty of things to choose from. But the best part is that as you're eating your lunch, you can stare out over the pools and the beach. So basically, you can always keep your eyes on the sun and the sand. The entire day was just about swimming and relaxing, followed by more swimming and more relaxing. And of course, since I'm in Mexico, I had to have a few tequila-based drinks to get the full poolside experience. I even had a big lizard come by to say hello to me on the grass next to my chair. The whole place had such a nice natural feel to it, definitely not like a lot of the big high-rise hotels. So I spent the whole day having an amazing time enjoying the resort, and I haven't even set foot outside my hotel yet. Perfect start to the trip and so much more to explore. For tonight's dinner, we went for Spanish food at one of the a la carte restaurants that are included. I started off with a nice mixture of cold Spanish appetizers. I'm not even sure what everything is, but it was tasty. After that, I moved on to some shrimp with chilies. And finally, some Spanish paella for my main course. I thought it was all really good, and as you'll see throughout this trip, I ate very well. One thing I noticed is that there are so many great spots for photo ops. Everywhere you go in the resort, there are Mayan statues and artwork around, so plenty of cool things to pose in front of. I spent a little while wandering out by the beach, admiring how nice the pools look lit up in the darkness. But I made sure to get myself a nice cozy spot outside the lobby bar where I could enjoy a few tequila sunrises by the fountain. The resort has some big theaters where they put on live shows every night, so I found myself a seat to watch circus. Honestly, I wasn't expecting too much from resort entertainment, but it was actually pretty fun. There were some strongmen doing human flagpole style moves, and the crowd absolutely loved it. I can't even comprehend how they were able to do that stuff. And another guy doing a rolling, balancing, juggling act. I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but whatever it was pretty impressive. There was also a woman who I guess you'd call a leg juggler. She'd spin and twirl and flip things with her feet, almost like she was running on a treadmill. Overall, a really fun show. I'm definitely going to check out some of the other live entertainment while I'm here. On to day 3, and I've got lots more of this resort to see and explore. After a quick breakfast, I'm back outside in the sunshine. Yesterday was all about the pool, but I didn't come all this way to miss out on the beach. And just look at it, so beautiful. Sand everywhere you look, not another resort in sight, and the waves slowly rolling over the blue Caribbean water. To me, this is paradise. How can you not love how peaceful and incredible this is? But as calm as things were from the beach, I wanted to hop into those waves and play around a bit. The waves weren't huge, but big enough to splash some salt water on you and knock you off balance a bit. Pretty much every adult I saw was in the water, playing around in the waves and having as much fun as the kids. But after a morning out in the water, I needed some lunch, so I popped over to the beach grill at the hotel next door. Equally good food, and I think you'll agree the views over the ocean are equally as amazing. On the way back to the beach, I noticed they even have free scuba lessons you can do in the pool to see how you like it. And they had a guy with a bird patrolling the resort to chase away pests. Definitely wasn't expecting to see that. Back in the water, and the underwater visibility wasn't great, but I did get to see a few colorful fish swimming around me. Before I knew it, the day had flown by and it was time to get out of the water and get myself ready for dinner. But tonight was one of the meals I was most excited for, the Mexican restaurant. I love Mexican food, so what better place to get it than in Mexico? A colorful mermaid was waiting by the front door to welcome me in. Inside, the restaurant had a wall of tequilas to check out while you're waiting to be seated. And like a lot of places in Barcelo Maya, a nice tequila station in case you need something to sip on with dinner. I started off with some tacos al pastor in Mexican flag-colored tortillas. After that, I moved on to some local Yucatan specialties. Sopa de lima, a lime soup with chicken and tortilla strips. And then cochinita pibil for my main, slow-roasted pork marinated in local ingredients. So delicious, and I ate way too much. But I definitely want to come back to this restaurant again before I leave. After dinner, I wandered around the resort and came to the Plaza Mexicana. And honestly, I still haven't decided if this is a really cool idea or completely insane. Basically, since the resort is kind of secluded out on the Riviera and completely private, you don't really get the full Mexican experience there. So they built a small replica of the type of Mexican market you might see if you were walking around an actual city. They have a bunch of carts and stalls filled with the type of tourist trinkets they have for sale in Playa del Carmen or Cancun. And not to be outdone by the real markets, they even have a bunch of knockoff designer goods for sale. Things seem super overpriced compared to tourist shops or markets outside the resort, but you do get the chance to haggle over prices with the people running the stalls. As I said before, a pretty wild place. Almost like an amusement park recreation of Mexico for the tourists who don't have the time or interest to leave the resort. After all of that, we found another lobby bar, but this one had some amazing outdoor seating. You're on a little island with a pool and fountains surrounding it and funky colored chairs and flowers. I can't think of a better spot to spend the night sipping frosty, tropical drinks with friends. Just the perfect spot to relax after a day in paradise. And if you'd rather go inside for your drink, they even have some live piano music for you to listen to as you sip your beverage. So this has been my first 3 days in Mexico. I've only had a chance to scratch the surface of what my resort has to offer, and I haven't even set foot out of the front gate of the Barcelo Maya. But I've been so happy with my trip, and I know that so much more is left to come. This has just been part 1 of my Riviera Maya vlog, and I have some incredible things planned for the rest of it. I'm going to go visit one of the wonders of the world, swim in some crystal clear underground water holes, go explore some Mexican cities, try authentic Mexican street foods, swim with some wild undersea life, take a boat trip, and so much more. I've only scratched the surface, and the rest of my trip is shaping up to be even better than the start. Check the video description for links to the videos about the rest of my Riviera Maya adventure. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments. And while you're at it, like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. On Instagram, I'm Firsthand Globetrotting. On Twitter, I'm Firsthand Globe. Follow me on there. And don't forget, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.